Good morning. Talk about a crappy meal.
Yeah.
Now, I will note that I did text Travis and Chris to make sure I could say that word on air
Yes.
because I care
That was
so much about
pre-approved.
not being too blue.
Thank you. That was perfect. Yeah, I guess Tucker didn't get the memo. That was very dear leader.
That was like some.
Because
Treat yourself
Oh,
to
he
this
got the
video.
memo. He got the memo. He saw that his text messages had been made public,
yeah,
and he decided he was going to supersize that meal.
yeah. I mean, but we were saying, I don't know whether it's just because they're off the Trump train or it's the Dominion lawsuit, but oh my God, they're actually reported that it was the Trump administration that rolled back the train safety regulations. Britt Hume, as I said earlier, was talking about how Trump didn't go to any train derailments, even the fatal ones in his administration. So journalism has broke out, Carl, on Fox. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it has more to do with them trying to play in the Ohio primary against DeSantis with Trump than it does anything else. And also, this is not seeping through every level of the network. So until we see his sycophants in prime time turning on him, making him the Karen at the counter of a McDonald's, I don't see anything changing.
Chris,
Yes.
who said this isn't just asking them to come in for an interview? This is asking for them to come in and be in the grand jury, and that is, to me, the fact that it shows that Jack Smith is really being tenacious regarding Ivanka and Jared's subpoena.
Quick Draw McGraw.
No, Andrew Weissman,
Oh,
former prosecutor.
he's good.
Carl, BFD, I think so. Jared and Ivanka.
I don't know. I'm sure that their publicist will place a story any day now about how they have nothing to do with any of this. Even if you saw them there testifying, it wasn't really them. They've got total distance from their father. But in reality, it is a huge deal.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw children who had a role in the administration? First of all, rarely, right? And getting called before a grand jury. So, TikTok.
Yeah.
When are the shoes going to drop? When are the indictments coming?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're all waiting on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, what are your thoughts on Emily, the chatty Georgia jury forewoman? Here's one
I
thing.
kind of love her. I think she sat behind me in homeroom in 10th grade.
Oh my God! You won't believe what's going to happen. One thing, Ethan on Twitter made me feel a little better. I'm going to ask Renato Mariotti about this in a little bit. Former prosecutor, Ethan said impropriety after the grand jury convened is different than impropriety during a grand jury proceeding. There is nothing she can say that will get an indictment thrown out after the grand jury has already convened.
Right.
Most legal experts are saying, she hasn't done any real damage, but I know all of us are like our sphincter snapshot. We're like, no, stop talking. Right.
Yeah, and if you are going to talk, you better share some good stuff.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. You make it
I
good.
want the actual tea, not just like a sip.
Yeah.
I worry anytime we see something out of the ordinary like this, but I think out of the ordinary is to be expected at this point, and they've wrapped up their work, so hopefully that won't have any impact. The information she has shared is very interesting, though. I'm dying to find out who the dozen or so people who the recommended indictments were for, some of which apparently we've not considered before, so We'll see.
Yeah. Also, we haven't considered the witch factor. Charlie Kirk warns us that she may, in fact,
Did you see this yesterday?
She may, in fact, be a witch.
This is
which
so.
would, I guess.
He's
so
affect
weird.
the
This is like the
jury.
weirdest thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
Carl, please. Carl, have a helping, won't you?
I apologize.
She just might be going rogue. It also makes you wonder if the process of selecting jurors are skewed or corrupted in some way. I mean, don't they do background checks? I mean, should someone who is engaged in witchcraft probably not be the person you put on CNN? Not an exaggeration, not hyperbole. You go look at her Pinterest, she's into alchemy, she's into herbs, she's into casting spells, all sorts of really goofy and bizarre stuff.
Oh, she's into herbs on Pinterest. You're a chef, aren't you? Into some herbs?
I use lots of herbs.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone who cooks.
Oregano.
Throw me some basil.
Wait, there's more, Carl. We're not done. Charlie
Of
Carl.
course.
This is the kind of person proudly serving as the forewoman of many of our juries today. I just want to reiterate this. Juries are, allegedly random selections of people. There is some judge bias where they could decide to dismiss people and retain people, but you have a lot of people that believe this. You get a random sampling of America, you're going to get a random sampling of witches. It's not a comfortable truth for a lot of people.
Is she going to have to do one of those I am not a witch ads that, what's her name, Christine O'Donnell had to do?
It makes it sound like Tituba was the lead, the foreperson here.
Yeah.
From the Crucible. This is just nuts.
I did not see this curveball coming. Wait,
Okay, this is
one
long.
last
I
one. Hang on.
apologize. This is a little bit long, but it's worth it.
All right, hang on. Here we go.
Some people are emailing us, Charlie, don't make fun of witches. They have a
Yeah,
lot of power. That's
sure.
not true. They do
Don't
not have a
piss them
lot
off.
of power,
Yeah.
but they do have some. If they're really into it, I do believe there's some very dark spiritual implication dynamics here. And look, I've encountered witches before. When I was once speaking, this is not a joke, when I was once speaking at Legacy Church in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the land of enchantment,
Albuquerque.
which is, in my opinion, the most outwardly pagan state remaining in America. A lot of great Christians, but there's a lot of weird witchcraft that happens in
Really?
New Mexico. I spoke at Steve Smotherman's church, and I was talking about how I believe marriage was between one man and one woman. This was back in July of 2021. I'm not making a word of this up. And 3 witches came up, and they started saying stuff at me. And maybe it was a coincidence, maybe it wasn't, but I got super sick right after that. Again, maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows? Maybe you think it's all a bunch of horse pucky and all that, but that was pretty chilling.
Carl,
We've stunned
is it
them.
any wonder in a state there is that much turquoise? There is not something hinky going on.
Roswell. I am seeing reports now that the foreperson has passed the test by holding her breath underwater, so we are good.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
I talked to a woman named Samantha there. I went home as a toad. Okay, Carl, when did
Oh, Samantha! You're just asking me to do Paul Lynde. I'm sorry.
Yay, it's a Paul Lynde impression. Oh, Sam.
Oh, Sammy.
Get that foreperson to shut up, Samantha.
That's really good, Carl. That's the best Paul Lynde
Thank
has
you.
ever been done on this show. That's fantastic.
At least in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, well.
Was I not paying attention when half the country and the right wing went completely bat insane? That's like normal rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl, your thoughts?
This is what goes for. Look, when you're grasping at straws, they also haven't been told yet what to think yet about the jury,
Right.
Or what's going on in Georgia,
Yeah.
Except to attack the process. So, they are grasping at straws to explain away news of the day, and
Yeah.
they will say whatever it takes to give their minions their marching orders and what they're going to post on YouTube and in their death threats to liberals that they see on Fox News.
Let's just be clear. As a member of the school board, you then are pro Warlock, is what you're saying, Carl Frisch?
Don't answer that.
I'm
Don't,
pro whatever
don't
they
answer
think.
that.
Yeah, don't say it on the air. Don't say it on the air.
Listen, we
Stop putting him
I'm
in
planning on going to
tough
New Mexico in the
positions.
future, and I really don't want to be hexed.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Well, speaking of fine Americans that are uniting to keep Carl Frisch on the school board, there's a virtual coffee celebrating. By the way, happy birthday yesterday.
Yes.
Right? And
What?
you
I
have
am
some
a
big
very
names. It's
young
right in my
22 years
headline.
old.
It's going to be starring Jodie Hamilton, Chris Lavoie, and Travis Bone.
What?
What? Coffee
That's
with
right.
Carl. Carl's 45th birthday. Aw. Is that? I don't know if that's
Right.
in Warlock years or just normal. A special guest. We'll take your questions about the campaign news of the day. It's a pivotal election year for school board members like Carl. Will we allow right-wing attacks on public education to succeed, or will we continue fighting to give every student an opportunity to succeed? Funds raised through this event will support Carl Frisch.
Yay!
Hey!
Right.
I can't wait for this. It'll
Anybody
be
who
fun.
wants to join us can. They just have to go to coffeewithcarl.com coffeewithcarl.com. If you can't make it, you can also support us at mooksforcarl.com.
Uh-huh.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. I love these conversations.
Yeah. Well, we always applaud you because we say you got to run for something, you got to start,
Yep.
we can't ignore the local, state, etc. And you did it. You did it. So let's help Carl continue to do it.
Yes.
Hey all, Glenn Kushner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kushner wherever you generally get your podcasts.